Hello everybody, I hope you're having a beautiful day. Welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time visiting, thank you so much for joining me today. So we're going to be doing a little bit of a different video, also as you can tell, in a little bit of a different studio space. I'm in my garage right now, so just don't worry about the ugly background if you can manage that. So I wanted to do some intuitive art making today for a couple reasons. I think that with all the things going on in the world right now, there's a lot of stress and a lot of pressure and a lot of things that are just kind of making us go crazy. And then also for me, I know I've been in a little bit of a creative rut and I've been putting so much pressure on myself to be succeeding and to be making the best art that I possibly can. And I think that we could all use a little break from all of these things. So I wanted to make some intuitive art, some kind of meditative art, things that we can just create, get our feelings out, really kind of capture what's going on in the present moment, and just put it all on paper so we can hang it up if we love it, or throw it away and just tear up those feelings. I also want to get into saying that if you do not feel like you are an artistic person, do not underestimate your natural creativity that lives inside of us all. Whether it turns out as a masterpiece or it looks like mud, quite frankly, it doesn't matter because it's more about the process. This isn't about finding that perfect end result. It's about making a product that makes us feel good in the making. Think of it as like a little therapy session for you. So don't worry about it if you're a beginner, if you only have crayons. You can really use whatever materials you want. I'll be using paint. So if you want to use paint, great. If you want to use crayons, colored pencils, oil pastels, digital, I'm a huge digital artist, anything really. You can even draw in the sand if that's what makes you feel good. So just relax, get your materials ready, and let's just jump right into it. So for today's lesson, we're going to be kind of focusing on peace. Inner peace, outer peace, spreading peace, what peace feels like, what it looks like, and what it really means to you. So before we start, I want you to take in a big, deep breath and just try to relax everything that you can in your body. Get rid of all the thoughts in your head, put them to sleep just for a moment, and really feel what it feels like to be you right now in this moment, and find the peace in your heart and just let it grow throughout your chest. Spread down your shoulders, your arms, your tummy, your legs, and just let it flow throughout you. And while you're doing this, I want you to also be thinking about peace. What color is peace to you? Is it a color that is associated with something? Is it one that makes you feel peace? Is it something that just makes you feel happy and therefore peaceful? And that is where we're going to start with our lesson today. Just one color. We're not going to jump in too crazy. Just think of one color that you would like to start with, and we'll get into it from there. Alright, so the fact that I'm in my garage is a little more apparent now, especially if you could see all the camping supplies behind my little easel here. You might also see the sketch. I'm just reusing a piece of paper. I didn't want to use a big canvas, something small. So hopefully you have your color picked out by now. For me, I chose a nice purple. We're just going to take our color, a nice bit on your brush, or whatever color you're using, crayons, I don't care, just whatever makes you happy. And just start feeling it. Start feeling the brush, the sounds. Let the brush do its thing first, because we're just at the very early steps right now. And we just want to kind of have no pressure in where we're starting. Just begin. That's all it takes. Just begin. As you can see, I've gone in with a bit of a more periwinkle blue. If you want to keep going on with your single color, that's great. Also, feel free to pause this video at any time to work. This obviously will not, you'll need to pause it if you want to kind of stay on track with the video. But I just wanted something that kind of felt more like lavender to me, because that feels a lot like peace to me. And so I thought that these two together kind of brought me that feeling. So if you want to add any colors, again, think of this as more of a suggestion rather than a tutorial or a guide. Just feel it. Don't feel restricted to anything. So I've just gone ahead, added some of this lavender, kind of periwinkle purple, and see where that takes me. See what new colors it builds, kind of over here where it gets a little bit of a mixture, a little hazy. Feeling the relaxation and continuously thinking about peace throughout this exercise is so important. Just don't forget the goals of this. Don't feel again restricted, but remember why we're doing this. So we'll kind of speed it up here, and I'll check back with you in a moment. Okay, so now we've got our base done. And if you were working with one color or 3 colors, doesn't matter. We should all be at the same point here, where we just kind of have a base, a general layout, and have done the very groundwork of what feels good. Also, you might be having this problem, which I'm clearly having right now. You see this buckling here? That's because I didn't really tape down my canvas paper that well, and I also think I might have been using the wrong type of paper. But you know what? I'm not gonna worry about it. If I really love it, I can always flatten it at the end, and I can always re-tape it down if it's getting in the way. So just again, remind yourself to not worry about these little things and just go with it, just feel it, and just love it. So now what we're going to do is you can either be working in the same color palette, choose another color that feels like peace to you when you close your eyes. What are you seeing when you think of peace? Are you seeing a peace sign? Are you seeing waves? Are you seeing a more abstract kind of shape? I'm not going to try and put anything into your mind here. But think about what that is and what kind of shapes are being evoked for you. And that is what we're going to try and translate onto this canvas. That visual feeling of how it feels to look at peace in our brains. Again, I know this is all a little abstract, but I'm certain that once you get into it and you really start trying to find that feeling, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's jump into this next portion. I'd also like to make the quick note that if you want to pause here and let your canvas dry, if you're looking for more crisp, kind of clean lines, this is the perfect time to do it, and if not, we're just going to jump right in. So I'm going to be staying in the same color palette. I just kind of mix some white in with the colors on my palette that I have off to the side over here. And when I think of peace, I personally think of just these almost very soft, feathery wave shapes. They just carry and they glide on their own. And they don't belong to anybody. They're not forced by anything. They just exist. So we're going to carry on with this. Alright, so now that we've gotten into a point where we've really... Oops, sorry about that, I just bumped ya. So now that we've gotten into a place where we're really into our paintings a bit more, I just want to remind you not to worry if it doesn't look like a masterpiece yet. It will be a piece you love because you were there in the present moment helping to shape this creation. I also want to remind you, one of my beliefs is that you as the artist have only so much control over what your output is. Of course you know what you're going to do, you choose the colors, you make the strokes, but your canvas, your paintbrush, the air around you, every other little external influence is helping to shape whatever we are here to create. So just don't forget that we're just here to make little shapes and colors on paper and have a good time. I'd also like to mention one thing that I forgot to mention earlier, that if you are watching television, or you have your phone around and kind of just distracting elements, I recommend you turn them off. You can keep them on if that's what makes you happy, but really I would recommend turning on some music, putting your pajamas on. I know I'm in my comfy clothes right now, I got my dog right here, I'm happy, I'm comfortable, I'm safe, and that's all you can really ask for to make the best piece possible. So just keep that in mind if you find yourself getting distracted during this exercise. When doing especially abstract work, it seems that there's kind of one of two things that happens. a moment of frustration and where you just don't feel like it's really working out. But also there's sometimes a moment where you're stuck because you like something and you treasure it. Now, one thing that was kind of reiterated a lot during my time in art school was that when you work through it, you come out with a bit of a more satisfying end product that really you as only the artist see, and I find that to be so special. The other thing is that there's sometimes these sacrifices that need to be made in order to get something even better. I remember one of my friends told me, don't be afraid to sacrifice something good to gain something great. So don't be too precious with your artwork here. Again, I know I'm a broken record. Feel it, love it, and be there with this. So right now, I think I'm gonna take a little bit of a break myself. Just let everything dry, and then I have one more third and final step that for you will just be in a couple seconds. But before I get into that, I just wanted to show you kind of where I'm at. I would love it if you would show your finished pieces, your progress pieces. If you make a video of this yourself, please share it with me. I'm on both Instagram and TikTok, just Zoe Luna Artwork. It should come up, you'll see me there. I would just be so in love with the idea of somebody sharing this, knowing that they did it, knowing that it possibly helped them. So I'll show you where I'm at, show me where you at, and then we'll do the final step all together. So, I've gotten back from my little break. Actually just went out, did some grocery shopping. But since I'm using acrylics, it's all dry now. Nothing to worry about. So, as I said, we're thinking about peace. We're keeping on that track. And we've done a lot of color and shape, but nothing super specific. Now, if you've done more specific, kind of symbolic or representational work, no problem. Totally fine. But I do want to kind of focus on that for this piece, this part of the kind of lesson. What are we doing here? I don't really know. But I think that I'd like to do some more detailed work, some finer work, something that is, again, kind of getting at this feeling, this motion, these images in our brain that we have of the feeling of peace and what it means. If that is words to you, please go ahead, write them, stencil them, stamp them. If that's, a person, an animal, again, another symbol, something. Any of it's totally fine. But just go ahead and choose a color. I'm going to stick with 1 to 2 colors for this, I think, especially since we're getting a little muddy here, but that's, again, totally fine. It's about the process, not the piece. So, yeah, I'm going to mix up my colors. I'll meet back in with you. We'll talk about it a little more, and we'll get right into it again. So I've gone ahead, mixed up a little bit of a light, sort of peachy yellow. And I'm just going to use a smaller brush. Lately I've been using bigger brushes to get movement and not get too stuck in any ideas. But I'm going to use a smaller brush for a little more detail and a little bit more control. So I'm just thinking now kind of what sort of shapes. And for me personally, I'm more attracted to the rounder, free-flowing sorts of shapes with a prompt-like piece. So I think that's kind of what I'm going to focus on here. Then I might go in and bring out some of these, background spaces. So I think that's where I'm going to start. Let me know what shapes you think of when you think of peace. I'm sure that I'll see it if you share, and I just love to hear about your experience. Let me know if you want another one of these videos. I've got lots of prompts, lots of ideas, lots of methods. So I'd definitely be happy to continue to share them. So let me know, and let's get back into the painting. Have it. We have our final pieces. Somebody might look at mine, I'll show it up to you here in just a second, and think that is the ugliest painting they've ever seen. Somebody might look at yours, and honestly they might say that is the ugliest painting I've ever seen. But you know what? I love this painting because I made it and I know that it was helping myself. I was helping my mind, my creativity, my day. So there's so much to be gained just from something to hang on your wall. Don't forget that during these exercises. So to show you my final painting here, be sure to share yours with me. I'd just be absolutely thrilled to see it. Again, tag me on TikTok or Instagram at Zoe Luna Artwork, just the same as my YouTube channel name. And I'd love to see it. So thank you so much for joining me on this exercise. I'd really love to do more of these videos. I think it is so fun, so helpful. And just have a beautiful, peaceful rest of your day. Thanks again. Bye-bye.